Hi guys, this is Project Life week 49 and I'm gonna do kind of a really lazy 5 favorite things this week. I just had a few bits and pieces on my desk, so that's what I've grabbed. I've grabbed a bunch of alpha stamps, and this one, Park Street Alpha, is the brand new alpha stamp from Kellie Stamps. It is available in the store right now, as are these other ones. If you feel so inclined, or maybe Santa might like to have a look for you. But I just grabbed out a bunch of those alpha stamps, and these are some blank journal cards from Ellie Studios, and I've got a bunch of stuff from the new Dream in Colour line from Rosie Studios. So I've got some die cuts, some little enamel shapes, and the 6x6 paper pad. I had all of this stuff out on my desk. I had made a pocket letter this week. It was sitting there. I really like the colours. The colours in my photos this week are reasonably bright, so I figured, why not? Let's go a little bit rainbow. It's been a bit quiet in that front lately, and nice to take a break from doing a bit of December daily stuff and work with some other colours. So I had a 4x6 piece that I had used the other bit of, so I'm going to use that yellow diagonal stripe for my title card there, and I decided to grab the yellow version of that Ellie Studio card to do what at the time I was going to do some journaling on it, but you'll see I don't end up doing any journaling. I just wanted to make a quick page, and the quickest way for me to do that is to not add journaling, unfortunately. I know that's totally slack, but that's how it is. I pulled out the rainbow piece because, you know, that's like my favorite paper in the whole pad, but I did swap that to the flower, my rose photo, rather than my lily photos. I'm just going to add this plainer sort of pink pattern in behind there because the photos are quite large to put 2 on a 4x6, so it did cover up quite a lot of that pattern, and I really wanted to show off a little bit more of the rainbowiness of that paper. So I just trimmed that down into 3x4, which you do get a nice rainbow effect right through from the purples to the pinks. So this is my basic layout, and my idea really was this week just to play with some of these alpha stamps. Like, I really love alpha stamps. This one I love even more because it has numbers in it, a fairly rare occurrence, which just makes my little heart go pitty pat. So I decided to work on my title card first, and I'm just really loosely putting down a piece of washi tape, which is going to act as a kind of guideline for my stamping, but I am going to put that back later, but you'll see why I want to be able to peel it off nicely first. So I am stamping out with the Park Street Alpha week 49, which is, I will say, is made so much easier by having the washi tape there. So even though I am planning on putting it back there, I think maybe I should use the washi tape a bit more often, even if I'm not planning on putting it there. And I am stamping this in black ink. This is Memento Tuxedo Black, which actually, this paper is like super porous, so it did suck up the ink quite a lot, which turns it into a not particularly black, which I was slightly disappointed with, but it kind of worked, and I wasn't going to re-stamp it. I didn't want to waste the piece of paper. So instead, I'm just going to leave it as is. And because I intend to use a bunch of different alpha stamps this week, I'm going to use a few of them on the title card. So I've grabbed some yellow ink, and I was just testing to see whether you can see that on top of the yellow paper, which you can. I don't want it to be like too in your face, but just to add a kind of pattern, a sort of texture behind the actual stamped title. So here's where I'm going to peel off my washi. I am going to put that back, but I want to be able to stamp underneath it. So I'm going to use this other alpha here. I have got 2 different alphas, so I'm using the little typewriter font and then this sort of taller one, just ones that contrast with the actual title stamped font, which was the Park Street Alpha. So I stamped week twice with this bigger one and then decided to stamp it a 3rd time. So I've stamped each one 3 times. So I've got 6 plus the actual title on there. Although one you'll see will get mostly covered up with washi tape. So I'm going to put that piece of washi tape back where it was. just fold that under, and then I grabbed a whole bunch of my little thinner washies, and I was going to use the neon pink one, but actually I've got one in here that's almost the same pink as that card down the bottom. So just to keep everything sort of consistent, I'm going to use that. So just layer those washi tapes up to make the little shelf for the week 49. Now I needed a label for my date stamping, and this is another Kellie Stamps stamp too. I think it's from the Labels 101 stamp set, and I had just pre-stamped a whole bunch of those in different colors and trimmed them out, and I've got them sitting in a little bowl, and that blue one was perfect. So I've just added my date stamping, and that's my title card. So you can see how colorful I'm going this week, and I really love it. Just gonna stick down my rose photo, and again, just to keep that sort of continuity, I'm gonna use washi tape as well. So that's what I meant by a bit lazy with my 5 favorite things this week, because I am just adding bits and pieces as I need to, and washi tape is one of those things. So I guess that makes it 6 favorite things this week, but never mind. Now I'm going to stick down my little photos of Lil. This is before and after of her groom that we did. These are really hard photos. I wanted to stamp before and after, and that's what I'm going to do, but they were really hard photos. I mean, apart from the fact that Lil will not sit still, especially when she's being groomed, to have photos taken because of where we were taking them. You can see they're quite high contrast photos, so it was really hard to pick a color. I decided to go for white rather than black because the stamping, especially on this before one, is going to be really close together, so it's going to make this really bold statement down the bottom. If it was in black, I think it would be a little bit overwhelming for the photo, so the white just kind of lightens it up a little bit. It is there, you can read it, but it's not actually in your face. You do have to look for it. And these Park Street Alphas, they just work so nicely with this sort of metallic ink. So this is the Brilliance Moonlight White, and it's my favorite white ink for stamping on photos. I do have a video about how I stamp on photos, so I'll link that up the top here. I know a lot of people have trouble with it. I never do. I put that all down to the fact that I print at home on Canon Photo Glossy 2 paper, which stamps beautifully. So that's my only advice. I've got no advice for stamping on like store-bought photos, because I think it's just a case of experimentation with different inks and different stamping techniques. I don't ever really get store-bought photos, so I've got no advice, I'm afraid, for that. Now this is where I decided to change my mind. I was going to stamp yes at the top of the journaling card and then write some journaling, but actually I didn't have anything like earth-shattering to say about this week. It was actually a really nice week. All of my photos are super positive and happy, and I guess I probably picked those on purpose because apart from all of this fun stuff that was happening, the only other thing that was happening was super hard work days, super long, super hard work days. So this is just a little note to say yes to all of this, and I decided not to use just the one stamp, the one alpha set. I decided to use all of them. So I'm stamping each line in a different font, and I chose this pretty blue ink instead of going with black, again just to keep things colorful and fun. So I tried really hard to line this all up to the middle of the card, and it doesn't really work. It's not totally successful, but I'm gonna sort of fix that at the end, you'll see, with some of those little enamel shapes to trick the eye into thinking that it feels balanced, even though it's technically not. Now this photo, I knew that I wanted to stamp something on the photo again, and it has this really strong diagonal line through it with my keyboard there. So I'm using this little alpha and stamping along the top of my keyboard, getting ready. This was just one day I had finally found some time to sit down and plan out a few pages for December daily. I had my coffee and Instagram, and it was just a really nice break that I took from work. So I just stamped on there in that diagonal line. Now this is pretty much where my camera cut out, and I didn't realize until much later on. So you haven't missed a lot. I'm gonna stamp out Cutie on this photo of Lil, and the only other thing that I did was add a couple of pieces of washi tape to the photo on the right there. And then I finally did clue onto the fact that the camera had stopped, and I started it again for you. So I've grabbed out these die cut pieces and I'm just going through them, and certainly not one by one, because as you can see there are billions in this pack. And the great thing with the Rosie Studio packs is there's more than one of each in there. I think there's 2 or 3. So even though I had used a bunch on a pocket letter, as I said, I still have a bunch left over. So I'm just going through them, picking out ones that I think I might use. I'm not committing to any just yet. I'm just putting some down where I think I might use them. And then I'm like, right, I give up because I've got enough down, so I'm just going to choose rather than keep going through them. So I added a little teal heart between the 2 photos of Lil, and it's kind of hard to see, but I added a little speech bubble shape that says LOL. And then I'm just adding that really pretty tag that says let your true colors shine. Another thing I love about Rosie Studios is because it's got UK spelling, so colors and favorites are all exactly how I want them to be, which is nice. I added beautiful to my rose and then decided where I was going to put this little banner shape. I originally had it up the top corner here, but it was kind of covering a part of my photo that I did want to be seen, but in the end I've just put it there anyway. I know what's there. That's probably all that matters. Now here's my trick for making this card feel balanced, is I'm just adding little these little heart stickers to it, just because if you add them sort of off center like I have, then it's not as noticeable that the text isn't centered. And when I add the little hearts to the top card, to my title card here, it has this sort of diagonal of hearts down there, so it helps to balance it all out quite nicely. And just a couple more around the page. I could have gone crazy with these. You can't really see on camera, but they're glittery enamel hearts in these beautiful colors. It couldn't get any nicer, really. I often forget to pull out my alpha stamps and play with them in Project Life. It's easy to pull out these ready-made sentiments, but alpha stamps are so versatile and are so much fun. I will leave the link for all of these ones down below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a comment and a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.